Hello everyone, this is General History Gaming, and this is part 15 of our Panzer Corps 2 playthrough. We have just won Operation Battle Axe, the British counterattack or the British operation to try and break the siege of Torbuk. We've obtained victory here, we've held them off at all costs, and now we are continuing to what I suspect to be Operation Crusader, will be the follow-up battle. The next attempt by the British to break the siege at Torbuk.
If these British are anything,
Yes.
it's stubborn. Time after time, you send their forces reeling, and time and again they're returning with a new offensive. With Torbuk behind your lines, continuing to disrupt our efforts to supply the troops, you will be especially hard-pressed to fight off this latest assault. A British surprise attack has already advanced deep into our lines across this front. You will need to marshal your forces, find and engage any British forces as you encounter them, and take back control of this desert. But now is where it gets tricky. The force arrayed against you is vast, and your objectives are scattered across the desert. Additionally, Rommel has rightly pointed out that should the enemy successfully link up with Tobruk, we would find ourselves in a most dangerous encirclement. So, disrupt the enemy offensive as best you can before Rommel gives the order for a withdrawal. Remember, we must preserve the Africa Corps. Good luck.
Alright. I wonder if that means we can actually lose this battle, like lose these positions, or not. If it means we'll eventually get told to retreat. Alright, so we have our new commander, or hero unit, sorry. Lethal attack, half of suppression caused by this unit is converted to kills. Didn't we just have that one? I feel like we just had that one. But I feel like that would be good with either a bomber or an artillery piece. But let's go ahead and look at our green units. Let's go, or reinforcing our units. Hopefully, looks like not too many of our units are too badly damaged. Ooh, this fighter unit is. As well as, I think I'm going to go ahead and use all my elite replacements on some of these fighter units. Because these tank units aren't too experienced. Actually, this artillery unit's really experienced. Let me use it on him. Alright, so that was my 3 elite replacements. Remember, we went green army. Alright, so let's go ahead and upgrade all these guys. Or give them replacements, that is. Did I lose one of my artillery again? I feel like I had 2 anti-tank guns last battle. Did I lose one? I guess I did. I didn't think I did. Maybe I just had the 1 and then the Flak 88. Okay, alright, so that's going to be it for all my reinforcements. Now we'll go ahead and get that hero unit. Let me just check something. No, okay. Maybe I just seem to remember. I guess. Let's go ahead and give it to one of my artillery units. I feel like they're gonna cause the most suppression, and if half of it's converted to kills, and then it would go better on an artillery unit. At least that's my thinking, at least. Could be wrong, but we'll see. Alright, so we have 6 core slots to work with. Now this is another defensive battle. Like I said, this happened right after Operation Battle Axe. The British sort of reorganized after the battle of, after Operation Battle Axe was concluded. Wavell, who was the British commander in charge at the time, gets relieved of command. He gets replaced by Claude Auchinleck, or Auchinleck, one of those two. I can never remember how to pronounce his name. And the Western Desert Force was then reorganized into the 8th Army, which consisted of 2 corps, the 30th and 13th Corps. they would make up almost 120,000 men and nearly 750 tanks, and they would, of course, launch into Operation Crusader. Now, the frontier, Rommel had pretty much retreated most of his forces back to Gambut and City Rezeg. This is where or I guess they were more in this area. The 15th and 21st Panzer, and the 90th Light was assisting with the Italians in sieging Torbuk, and the Italians were tasked with holding Bir al-Gui as well as the border forts, or the frontier forts near Egypt, which were the positions that we fought in last battle. So that's where we stand going into this battle. Now, what I have, like I said, I have 6 core slots to work with. Let me see. Do I have the... No, I do have the Panzer 3Js, which is going to be a great upgrade for my tanks. They were equipped with a better gun than the Panzer 3Hs were. Let me go ahead and replace all my... replace these. Okay, so both of those were replaced with the F last time, so let's go ahead and replace all my H's with the J's. We're still not quite at the point where Rommel was receiving the better Panzer IVs with the long-barreled 75mm guns. We also still haven't started receiving our Tigers yet. Which in this game I felt were very actually underwhelming. Like bringing in the Tigers, they really weren't worth it. I mean, I'm sure we'll still bring in some Tigers once we get them, but I was actually disappointed in them. So we have 6 to work with. I almost feel like I want to bring in more Air Force. Ooh, we can actually upgrade our BF-110s and Stuka. Sorry, Stukas. So we get a little bit more firepower with the BF-110F. And then we also get these Ju-87Ds, which are apparently an upgrade over the R. I'm not as... I don't really know German air units as much as I do German tanks. So I'm not really sure what the difference was between these two fighters. So there we go. Now my Air Force is upgraded. Now, like I said, what do I want to bring in? I could bring in another tank for sure. What do I have in reserve? What do my reserves look like? I do have the Stug. I do have the bomber. I don't know if in the defensive battle I really need to bring in a strategic bomber. Do have the recon car in reserve as well as some infantry. Again, pioneers probably aren't going to need them for this battle. Don't really need Fallschirmjägers. Definitely don't need bridge pioneers. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just take a look at purchasing units. Like I said, I'm kind of interested in maybe getting another. You know what? I am going to go ahead. I'm going to get another BF-110. I really like having all these tactical bombers to play with. That still leaves me 4 to mess around with. Could actually bring in a bunch of 25 pound guns. That's how many I've captured as a whole. I could deploy a whole set of them. Ooh, we do have some anti-tank that we could potentially move in. That really won't cost too much either. You know what? Let's go ahead and buy 2 of these. We'll see how it goes with these. I'm assuming they're going to attack with some heavy armor forces, as they did. The British used a lot of different armored brigades in this battle while moving across the frontier. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll really bulk up our anti-tank corps. In fact, what's the difference between the two, other than the fact that this one takes up gas? It actually has better defense. So let's go ahead and upgrade this gun as well. I mean, in terms of the gun, it's still using the same gun, it's just more mobile, so I don't see, I mean, we get better defense, get better movement. I mean, it does take up fuel, and I mean, it doesn't have as much max ammunition, but I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, let's go ahead and upgrade him as well. So we got all 3 of these 50mm pack mobile pack guns for this battle. So let's go ahead and start deploying. Now, like I said, traditionally the Italians held this sort of middle ground here, or near Bir el Gubi, whereas most of the Germans were actually deployed here in the north, and then around Torbuk as well. I don't think I'm gonna leave that up to chance, though. I feel like a good portion of the attack's probably gonna come towards Bir el Gubi. I'll deploy most of my forces here in the north. Deploy 1 of each of these anti-tank guns here in the south. Deploy the 88. Deploy 1 of each of these artillery pieces. And I'll leave 1 tank here in the south, but most of my armor I think I'm going to deploy in the north here, as the Germans actually had deployed most of their armor in the north. Like I said, the 21st and the 15th Panzer were in this area of operations in the north. I'll deploy 2 of my fighters here, 2 of my fighters here. I'll deploy my storage forward. I'll deploy my 2 BF-110s there, and then my other Stuka there. Alright, so that is my deployment. Now, I get the feeling I'm going to be mostly on the defensive, and then I'm going to move on the attack. Now, looking at the battlefield, knowing the history of it, like I said, I think I'm going to hold most of my forces in place for the beginning. I may eventually move towards... Now, it does say I had to capture all the victory hexes, but then the briefing said we're going to retreat anyway, so this is one of those weird things, like I said in one of the earlier episodes, where, I'm sorry if my dog is, if you all can hear my dog in the background, she must see a deer or something. I live out in the woods, so we're always getting animals walking through my property, but, I totally lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Alright, let's just start the battle. I totally forgot what I was talking about. But as we can see, the British will go first as we end deployment. For some reason, we're still showing this deployment phase. Icon. So the British are attacking. Now, technically, the German, or the Axis, really, didn't really lose these positions until much later in the battle. Now, I believe it was which one of the two? I believe it was the 13th. Yes, the 13th was supposed to flank north and surround the frontier fortifications along the border, whereas the 30th advanced to Geversale in the middle there, and their objective was to draw the Germans into a massive tank battle, or a decisive tank battle, in which really they planned on overrunning Rommel's forces. Rommel didn't take the bait, though. He sort of saw through the British plans and held his positions, or held his forces where they were, which sort of threw off the British plans, because their idea was, like I said, to attack this, was to draw the Germans in. So that forced the British to go on the offensive, because holding this position really had no tactical advantage for for the British. So they really had to go on the offensive to actually So they had to go on the offensive to really make a difference in their assault plans, because, like I said, this had no tactical advantage. So what they did, the 30th elements of the 30th then moved towards City Rezeg and Bir Gubi to assault the German or Axis lines there, and sort of try and put pressure on the Germans and hopefully attempt to help the British forces in Torbuk, help them break out. Now, they did take City Rezeg without much of difficulty. However, they did struggle at Bir Gubi. The 22nd British armor attacked Bir Gubi, where they suffered not major casualties, but they didn't have the effect that they believed they were going to. They believed that the commanding officer of the 22nd Armored Division thought the Italians that were located at Bir Gubi would be pretty much a cakewalk and good training for his troops. This obviously ended up not being the case, as I said. They really put up a good fight. We do have them on the run, but I don't know if I want to leave all my artillery and anti-tank undefended, although it's just an armored car. Yeah, we won't pursue. Alright, I'm going to move one of my fighters here. The other one I'll move. Ooh, no, I don't want to do that. So, what I'll do instead, let's see what they have in reserve. So they have a lot down here near City Omar. I'll move this guy in support of that Stuka. Whereas my 2 BF-110s will attack these forces here. That was effective. Move out to destroy this Stuart. Or not. Not destroyed, but at least I did something against them. Move out of City Rezeg and attack this tank. So far, I'm going to leave my forces here near Gambut in position. However, I think I will move this tank forward. You know what? I don't want to do that. I see all this that he has in reserve. He'll probably move that forward. So I think, yeah, I'll keep all these forces in position. I will actually move this Panzer III forward, though. Alright, so that was a pretty decent first turn. Let me go ahead and move up these forces, however. I'll leave them in position. So yes, historically the British attacked Bir Gubi. They underestimated the Italians there, and they weren't able to break them. The 7th British Armored Division, though, did take City Rezeg without much of a fight from the Italians, and then the 4th Armored Division held Gaber Saleh. Now this, after the British then committed their forces into attacks on Bir Gubi, as well as City Rezeg, that's when Rommel then launched his assault. He sent the 21st Panzer towards Gaber Saleh and engaged the 4th there. His initial attack saw initial success. I believe it was 24-4. Ooh, was that one of my guys that just got destroyed? No, I think that was one of their tanks. Obviously, I have lost 2 Italian units, but I believe that was in the eastern forts. So yeah, that must have been a. How is he out of supply? That's weird. Actually, let me bombard him first. So yeah, it's 21st, then attacks Gabriele, and that's where the 21st achieves that victory over the 4th Armored there. Now the 22nd Armored was on their way to support the 7th from Birogube after the failed assault, and that's when then they got diverted as they moved up to City Rezeg to support the 4th at Gabriele. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not 100% sure there. So I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that right. Alright, we'll get the overrun there. Let me put an overrun them. Put these troops in the open here. Alright, that was a good victory. Fighters. Probably gonna take, so obviously the Spitfires a little bit better than our ME-109s. So we took some casualties there, but we almost took them out. What about this? It's not bad odds for the BF-110. Go ahead and use the Stuka and bomb them. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. I don't like any of that. We'll move him against this lone tank and then try and get this tank into a better position. Actually, oh wait, I can't. God dang it. I did too many reversals. Let me see if I can head up here and destroy the Spitfire. I do. My 88 moving forward. Alright, now let's get my infantry assaulting forward. The JU-88, what do I want to do? I'll destroy that infantry unit. Go ahead and strafe an artillery. Good job. Like I said, I'm sort of pretty much ignoring all these forces out here. Probably shouldn't, but I don't really care. I seriously doubt if they're going to hold off. Now, I could possibly send this force south, but I think I'll wait. Now, once we end this turn, now, like I said, there was the 21st and the 15th Panzer in the north there. The 15th Panzer moved along this road just near City Aziz before then shifting south to Gabriele to support the 21st Panzer against the 4th Division. Now, as the 22nd arrived, both the 21st and 4th then withdrew from the field. And then on the 21st of November, sorry, I was just looking up the date, which brings up a lot of people. Somebody asked me, how do I present the information in my videos? Do I research these battles beforehand, or do I do all this from memory? It's sort of a little bit of both. A lot of this is done by memory. Like I said, most of this is stuff I read a lot of books, history books, but oftentimes I look up things, I'll watch some videos beforehand just to remind myself a few things. Most of the notes that I take are like dates and units. For the most part, the actual troop movements and stuff like that are stuff that I know off the top of my head. For the most part, sometimes I'll see something and be like, oh, I didn't know that, so I'll write that down. But for the most part, most of the stuff I would say I know off the top of my head. Now you could call that boastful if you want, I don't know, but I guess you have to move, switch that, and then move? Yeah, I guess that's how you have to do it. I guess you can't move and then switch it. It's weird. Moving forward. That puts me in range. Alright, so he's pretty much a non-factor at this point. That artillery piece, that is. Ooh, this unit took some casualties. There's that Vickers Mark 6. Do I know where's my scout plane? Take a look at. So they still have these two forces back here in terms of Air Force, as well as one up here, which I might be in range of. Wow, 5-1. What? Oh, it's another one. For some reason, I seem to struggle against these. I'm really not. Oh, wait, they do actually have a Hurricane back there as well in support. So that's why. Let me go ahead and attempt to jump this scout plane. Try and remove their eyes from the battle. There we go. I'll keep hitting that artillery piece. I'll leave him in position there. Alright, these forces, I'm gonna start. I don't think City Razag is in much danger anymore, so I'm gonna start moving these forces. Actually, just realized I hadn't attacked this tank yet. I'll move these forces and meet up with these forces at Gambut. Gambut, maybe, I don't. Like I said, some of these places I had doing my best at attempting to pronounce them. I'm gonna go ahead and transfer that plane over there. Move this Panzer up on the hill and hit this infantry in the open. Could have attacked that tank, but I feel like that was a better use of my position. Try and gain the high ground before that infantry does. I'm surprised they actually didn't do that last turn. Alright, and I think that, like I said, I'm gonna hold these guys in position for now, because I'm sure once this 13th Corps, or what's supposed to represent the 13th Corps, takes all these positions, that they're gonna start moving this way. Hopefully by then I'll have Gabriel Saleh, and I'll have a line in which I can just move east across the desert. That is the plan, at least. So end that turn. So like I said, as I started to say, on the 21st of November, forces in Torbuk attempt their breakout. The 7th Armored plans to assist this breakout of these forces, but as they're, I believe, just like right before they actually move to assist, that is when the 21st and 15th Panzers, who the British believed at the time had withdrawn, were just moving into positions to attack the 7th. The ensuing battle across a 35-kilometer kilometer front was very convoluted. Neither side, nor the British nor the Germans, had a clear front or rear. As the battles, the lines sort of intertwined. Now the British 7th lose all but 28 of their tanks during this battle, and the breakout eventually will fail. The 22nd arrives, but at this time, but they also get overwhelmed, and all these forces end up retreating back to City Rezeg. Or sorry, the Germans take back City Rezeg, and the British end up taking positions in the desert. And at this point, the British are down to 44 tanks in total between the 7th and the 22nd. The Germans do have 179 tanks as well, but and sort of makes sense as they did in this turn, or maybe they did in this turn. No, I think they did in the last turn. But Fort Capuzzo falls on the same day though, so even though the 30th Corps is taking heavy losses out in the desert, the 13th eventually overwhelms Fort Capuzzo. Now on the same night as well, the 15th Panzer actually captures the headquarters of the 4th British Armored Division, taking many officers, many men, supplies, as well as it was like 30 some tanks that they capture as well that night, which ends up, like I said, the British are already having a tank problem, and now the 15th takes the 4th HQ, which really puts the 4th division out of action for the next couple days. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. Go ahead and attack this tank, get them moving back across, swing up, take care of that last little bit. That gun is about to fall, so we should be able to pretty much move forward here now. We got that Crusader on the run. We'll move into Gabrasale. Start attacking him. Now they got this guy out on his own. Swarm him and take him down. That guy didn't last long. Ooh, this guy actually took some damage. We'll go ahead and replace him. Alright, took care of that Boston. I could have went after the Spitfire, but at this point I believe that's their last fighter unit, so I'm more worried about their tactical and bombers and such than I am their fighters. So now we are starting to advance. We took Gabrasale back. We'll go ahead and take this airfield as well. As you can see, they are starting to send a Valentine unit up north. So what we'll do, let's see, who will have better? Oh, it's okay, the Stuka. We'll go ahead and send our Air Force in to support. We'll use this BF-110 to hit this infantry unit. Try and whittle them down as well. Let's go ahead and recon this area. So they have a lot of tank units starting to build up. So what we'll do is we'll start trying to set a unified front here. And then join with some of these troops coming from the south. Now they can't, we got a little bit of a ridge here, so I'm not worried about them flanking around. So we have this sort of unified defensive front to hopefully bear the brunt of this attack. That's, I'm sure, is going to be coming here soon. But I believe that is where we're going to leave this episode, because we're really at 35 minutes, so we're going to break this up into 2 parts at least, maybe even 3 parts, we'll see. But until then, this is General History signing off. Thanks, bye bye.